Well, we have a lot of news and a lot of other little fun stuff to talk about, so we will spend the next 12 or 15 minutes talking about just that. I can't hear my. Oh, I picked the wrong thing. I guess no intro for you guys. Anyway, welcome back to Brown's Breakdowns, Trail Partners, Tells Network, Advanced Sports Network. And also don't forget Hen's Coffee Roast. Can't forget them. Looking for a last minute, I don't know if it'd get there by Valentine's Day, but if you're looking for a late Valentine's Day gift or something for a coffee lover, get this coffee. Use this referral code right here. We get 15%. You won't regret it, I promise. Anyway, on to the actual podcast itself. So, first of all, you have obviously the biggest news, which is Myles Garrett requesting a trade. I'm not shocked he's requesting a trade. I mean, I would be requesting a trade to get out of this team. I'm just, I guess, disappointed because I love Myles Garrett and he's a really good player. But I'm not surprised he's requesting a trade because unfortunately the Browns the Browns kind of suck. So I'm not surprised he's requesting a trade. I am disappointed though because I'd like to see him stay on the Browns. But Myles Garrett requesting a trade, so now it's a matter of how much value can you get for him. I think a lot. I think you can definitely get some value out of a Myles Garrett because one, he's good, but two, he still has a few more years of probably prime gameplay, and he's in a very important position of defensive end. So I think he would be a great trade. Trade. What would be the word? Trade piece, I guess, would be trade chip, something like that, so you can get some good value. Now you'd probably want to trade him away before the draft, so you can get the most value out of a draft team. But I guess maybe if you don't, that's disappointing, but something. So a lot of people have the Browns have Myles Garrett going for 2 or 3 first-round picks. I think that's a little unrealistic. I think realistically you can expect 2 first-round picks, unless you end up trying to go and trade for a bunch of players with Myles Garrett. Then you won't expect it. But I think at least a first-round pick, and then 2 seconds or 2 first-round picks and something else. I think 2 first-round picks should be your bare minimum for a good trade, because otherwise you're just kind of wasting the trade opportunity you have, right? So I think you're going to want to go for 2 first-round picks at the minimum, though I feel like something more like 3 would be a great trade, but I don't think you're going to be getting 3 for Myles Garrett, unfortunately. He just isn't that type of player to be traded away for 3 first-round picks, right? Would I like him to get 3 trades, right? Would I like 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett? Absolutely, because that would be just a great trade. I just don't think that's realistic, unfortunately. It just isn't a realistic trade, trading him away for 3 first-round picks. Now, I would love that again. Now, some people are also mocking him with Deebo Samuel. I really don't want that to happen simply because we don't need Deebo Samuel. We already have a young wide receiver core. We already have a good wide receiver core. It doesn't matter how many wide receivers we add if we can't have a quarterback who knows how to throw to those wide receivers. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass on a Deebo Samuel, trade him somewhere else, and just get draft pick value or position players such as offense and defensive line. Would be optimal for me, at least. Now, whatever the Browns do, I don't know, right? The Browns might trade him for might make the trade of the century, or just trade him for a bunch of peanuts, right? You never know, which is unfortunate because I'd like to know, but that's the name of the game. Unfortunately, you just can't know right now, and so you're gonna just have to wait. You're gonna have to wait and just see what the Browns end up doing, because I think they can get a lot of value out of it, right? Because there is a lot of potential with someone like a Myles Garrett because of the way he plays and how good he is. There's a lot of potential to get a really, really good trade offer out of him. Now, I wouldn't be like disappointed if we traded for players, not because simply because we need players, right? Which is why we need draft picks. We need players. We need decent players who can just go out there and be a starter, right? Who can perform well, who can create good opportunities for our offense and for our defense, things like that. And so hopefully we can get that with a Myles Garrett trade and with the draft, but unfortunately you just never know. So let's do our advertisements really quickly, and then let's actually talk about said draft. So we'll be right back. And we're back here on Browns Breakdowns. So let us talk about the draft. Now, there's a lot going on with the draft because, again, we have the number 2 overall pick. There's a lot of mock drafts happening with us, right? A lot of people have us taking Shedeur Sanders. Well, I'll probably talk about that in a minute. There's a lot of things people are talking about. So what exactly are we looking at? Well, right now we're looking at players, right? Coming from a guy who likes scouting. We're looking at the players right now. We're just looking at everybody. Not everybody, but we're looking at the people who fit our positional needs for each round, right? So offensive linemen, defensive linemen, QB, and then some secondary and a few other offensive pieces, right? That's kind of what we're looking for. Now, offensive tackle would be great, like especially if we get more first-round picks out of Myles Garrett. I would love some more offensive tackle, guard kind of picks without hurting our number 2 value, right? That would be great. If the Browns could get 2 offensive linemen in the first and second round and still pick at number 2, that would be awesome. That would be just great, right? And still maybe pick a defensive player, pick someone, who can perform on the defense as well. So what exactly players am I looking at? Other than the normal players, right? Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter. What is some other people that we have? So right now, like, I would say personally, the next best player, if you don't take Cam Ward, you don't take Abdul Carter, you don't take someone like a Travis Hunter, right? I feel like if you're looking at defensive side of the ball, someone like a Mason Graham out of Michigan, he is a really good player. He's one of the best interior defensive players coming out of the draft. PFF has him as number 4. I have him as a top 10 pick. He is really good, and he fits a positional need in defensive tackle, which we've needed forever. And he is a very good defensive tackle as well, right? Which is important. Obviously, you need a good one over some like a generic one, right? So he is a very good defensive tackle. So if you end up not going for any of the other guys, he could be a great player to pick there at number 2 if you want to go that direction. Now, other people you could be looking at, Ashton Jeanty, just forget about him. I don't think he is as good as he's made out to be. He's good, right? But he's 5'9", 215. He's kind of small. But he's a good player, right? Don't get me wrong. He just isn't what the Browns need right now, especially at number 2. Now, another player would be James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. He's quite good. PFF has him at 9. I have him as a top 15 player. I think he could be a great player for you. He would be good at what he does, I think. So I would say he would be pretty decent, again, if you don't end up going for all the other guys that are. He's an edge also, by the way, which is good, right? You might want to add another edge defender with Myles Garrett gone. So he could be someone you could look at who you wouldn't regret because he is pretty decent. So other people could be a Mike Green out of Marshall, another edge defender. He's a redshirt sophomore. So he is 11 on PFF. I should actually check him, Mike Green, NFL draft, because I want to make sure he's actually going in Mike Green, scouting report. Yeah, it looks like he's going somewhere. And he's the sack leader too. So he is going to be in the draft. I just want to make sure because that feels low. But Mike Green, another edge defender, he's the second best rated edge defender other than Abdul Carter. He was really, really good in Marshall. He could be a good pick if you wanted to look edge direction or if you traded backwards, right? You traded down to like 8 or 9 and you needed someone to pick. Mike Green could be a great selection, especially with the loss of Myles Garrett, assuming he's traded away by now. So let's say you want to go tackle, right? Let's say you want to go offensive line. So offensive line, best out there would probably be someone like, they have Malachi Starks, who's pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he's okay. Oh, wait, no, he's a safety. Wrong guy. I'm looking at the wrong dude. Sorry. Will Campbell. Will Campbell's good, 6'6", 323. He is decent. PFF has him as 8. I only have him as a second-round talent. I think he's good. I just don't think he's as good as some of the other players. Now, my favorite tackle has to be not Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, though that would be cool. Kevin Banks. Kevin Banks out of Texas, 6'4", 320. Tackle. He is rated 15 in PFF. I have him as a top 15 pick. I think the Browns would like a player like that. He fits the Browns scheme well. He's a good offensive tackle. Does have some problems sometimes from what I've seen, but he is really good. And I think if you trade back from that number 2 to maybe number 8, number 9, number 10, and you need someone to pick, he could be a great selection there in that mid-range pick, right? He's ranked 15. I have him as a top 15 player. I think he would be a great selection for the Browns if you decided to trade back. Another tackle that you might want to see. Oh, what the heck? It broke PFF apparently. Oh, I gotta refresh it. So another player. Again, let's say you wanted to go tackle. Where the heck is the quarterback? Man, they don't have him anywhere. So again, if you wanted to go tackle, you could be looking at Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, 6'5", 310. PFF has him as 12. I have him as a late first-round pick. I think if you want to go that direction later in the first round, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. He is just not my favorite. I think he still is good, right? Don't get me wrong, but I just don't have him as great. And then a few other little notable players, I'd say. First would be the Mississippi defensive interior lineman. He's 6'3", 305 out of Ole Miss, or Mississippi, I mean. Yeah, Ole Miss. I'm stupid. He's pretty good. I think he is a top first-round pick. If you trade back, that would be a good selection. PFF has him as 19. I have him as a first-round talent. So if you want to go that direction for Walter Nolan, he is pretty good. Next up, you have Armand Membu out of Missouri, 6'3", 314 tackle. PFF has him as 21st. I have him as a first-round pick. He would be a great selection as well for your offensive line, especially, again, if you decide to trade down. A lot of these are trade-down selections. Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State, another 6'5", 260-pound edge defender. PFF has him as 22. I have him as a first-round talent. He is quite good. Out of Ohio State, of course, Ohio State national champions. So obviously that team was quite good. He is a good player. Again, trade down 15, right? We're getting into the mid-20s. So if you want to go 15, 18, somewhere around there, and you pick him, not bad, right? But those are just a few more guys you could be looking at. There's some other interior defensive linemen from like Michigan and a few other guys from Ohio State and some other colleges mixed in around the place. But overall, those are the best players, especially just depending on if you decide to trade down or not. So that's about all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, I apologize for the weird schedule. Everything's just weird with the off season, right? There's no distinct schedule going on. So I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. I'll be back at some point in the near future, but I hope you all enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.